from Aussie's group. We are sorry we had a bad connection, so we're starting the video again. So today we have with me Tanu and Gaurang, both from the Aussie's Clayton office. So Tanu, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Malcolm. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, I'm fine. And sir, how are you today?
I'm always fine as always, and I'm again very happy to be back on our live sessions.
Thank you so much. So friends, our today's session is on the first task of speaking, which is called Summarize Spoken Text. Now in this task, as we had posted last week, there's an audio track, which is roughly 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes in duration, and after which we have to write the summary. So ma'am, what are the key criteria when it comes to this task of Summarize Spoken Text? That is, how many words should we write generally, and in how much time do we write the summary?
I would say you have to write a good summary. A good summary should have between 50 to 70 words, which is approximately 4 to 5 sentences.
That's right.
And the time frame is 10 minutes, including the video. And also the good summary will have a body, introduction, and the conclusion.
So 50 to 70 words, not less than 50, not more than 70, or else it could be a penalty.
That's true.
And the timer of 10 minutes starts at the same time as the audio starts.
Yeah.
So basically the audio itself, as I said, is roughly 1.5 to 2 minutes in duration. So we will not be getting the 10 full minutes to write, roughly 7.5 to 8 minutes, but it is more than enough time to write such a small summary of 50 to 70
And
words.
a lot of students, they get confused with summarized written text, where you have to write a summary using one sentence only.
Right.
But this is summarized spoken text, where you make sure you have to write more than 50 and less than 70 words.
Perfect, that's right. And so about the task itself, because the name of the task is Summarize Spoken Text, so
Yes.
what will be affected by this task?
Summarize spoken text. It's the first task in listening, and it is an integrated task.
Right.
So if you get it wrong, you lose marks for listening, and because you're writing something, so you lose marks for writing.
That's right. Listening and writing both very heavily affected by this task.
Yes, yes.
And generally, how many questions do we get in Summarize Spoken Text?
You would have between 2 and 3.
Minimum 2, maximum 3 questions.
Yes,
So
yes.
20 to 30 minutes in listening are consumed by this task.
Effectively, if you look at it, it takes up 50% of the total allotted time in
That's
listening.
right. That's right. That's a lot of time, so it has
Yes.
to go well under
Yes.
any circumstances. That's right.
So if you were to take a broad overview of the listening section, you will be answering anywhere from 15 to 22 questions.
That's right.
Right. Out of that, 3 questions
We made
take
it.
50% of the time.
That's right.
So for the remaining period of maybe 12 to somewhere around 18 questions,
Right.
you have to answer in the same amount of time that you are spending on 3 questions.
That's right. So basically, it's a very important task.
Very
Cannot be taken
important.
lightly. All right. So now there are 2 things very important in this task. First is what we write, because what is mainly the content score of listening, and second is how we write, because that affects the quality of your writing, which is mainly your writing score.
Yes.
So when it comes to what to write, what should be the main focus in the audio?
When you're listening to the audio, it is important that you pay total attention to what is being spoken and try and note down 4 to 5 key points. The reason for this, we have to write 50 to 70 words, which would give us roughly a paragraph, and a paragraph is about 4 to 5 sentences.
Right.
So if you have got 4 to 5 key points, you have got 1 point that can go into each sentence.
That's right.
That would give you an ideal structure for your summary.
A good coherent structure. That's
Yes, and if those points are, say, in a proper sequence, then you also got the right flow for your paragraph.
right. That's
So that
right.
is basically introduction, a sentence with the introduction, a sentence with the body, and a sentence with the conclusion.
Yes.
Right, that's right. And when it comes to how to write the summary, would you like to add, like, what are the main parameters of writing, like spelling or grammar, which we should be careful about?
Actually, everything, pretty much everything. So when you're writing a summary, the first point, it should be more than 50 words. The second point, it should have body, introduction, and the conclusion. The third point is you have to be very careful about the spellings. Fourth is your grammar. Fifth is the punctuation.
That's
So
right.
pretty much everything counts.
Yes, I think the points which you made about punctuations, that's basically typing, very important for your spelling and grammar score, both actually, I would say. So please be very careful with the basic typing rules. That is, you leave a space after any punctuation and you start a new sentence with a capital letter. The basics of typing.
Yes. In addition to that, it is also important. A lot of these the audios that you hear, there will be words that have abbreviations.
Right, right.
a lot of people get confused about this, whether I should write the abbreviation or I should
what
write
should
the
we
full.
do?
Well, if you're not sure of the full form, just go for the abbreviation. That way, chances are you will not make mistakes.
Right. And sometimes I have just a question popped up in my mind, so I'll ask. Sometimes we have words like we hear the word, but we don't know the spelling of the word. So what should we do?
Avoid.
Yes, that's right.
Ideally, avoid
Yes,
if you cannot find the exact spelling. If you're, but you know what the word is,
Yes.
try and use a synonym.
Yes. For example, if there's a word like brain hemorrhage, now we don't know the spelling of hemorrhage, so you write something like a brain disease or a problem
Brain
or something
damage,
like
probably
damage.
brain
Yes, something
Yes,
like that.
or make it as in a brain hemorrhage can also be described sometimes as a stroke.
Stroke or something like that. Yes.
Use a
write
simpler word.
synonyms or something
Yes,
like
yes.
that. Agreed. So I think now if I can request our colleague Ankur to play the audio which we had posted last week. So if you could please play it.
My working definition of mindfulness is it's the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally. So it's awareness, and the awareness is cultivated by paying attention. And in a particular way, on purpose, in other words, intentionally, in the present moment, which is the only moment we ever have to be alive in, and then most challenging of all, non-judgmentally. And that means, of course, we have judgments about everything, but to not be caught in those judgments so that we color everything through our likes and dislikes. So that sounds pretty simple. Okay, paying attention, I can do that. But actually, when you start to pay attention to how much we pay attention, a lot of the time our minds are all over the place, and we have a very hard time sustaining attention. And our attention is not very vivid, and it's not very stable. And teachers go out of their minds screaming and yelling at their classes of students, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. But nobody learns to pay attention by being screamed at to pay attention. So, but it's something that we can teach to people how to pay attention. And it's very, very powerful to learn how to sustain attention moment by moment by moment by moment by moment.
So very lengthy audio.
That's
And obviously the audio was about attention. The word
Yes.
came, I don't know how many times, but obviously the key idea was attention. So I'd like to request Tanu if she could just read out a sample answer so that you will understand how the structure can be in this task. Yes, Tanu.
So it will start with the sentence of introduction, which is, the lecture was a highly intellectual talk about paying attention. The speaker was discussing various aspects in relation to attention, including mindfulness. So that is basically the introduction of the summary. Followed by, paying attention has a lot to do with awareness and about being judgmental or non-judgmental. He added that teachers often face this issue of lack of attention from students, which becomes a challenge in learning. To conclude, which is our conclusion.
That's right.
To conclude, he said that sustaining attention and paying attention are equally important.
Right. So basically a very well formed and written summary which had all the parts or the main ideas discussed in the audio.
Yes. If we look at if we just reflect on the audio, there were attention, of course, was repeated again and again and again, and then there were a few key points that were mentioned. There was the talk of being aware, being judgmental and non-judgmental, intentionally being aware in the moment.
Yes.
That was mentioned, and then there was the talk of the teacher continuously screaming at students to get their attention, to pay attention, and then
Finally, about
sustaining attention was also mentioned. So we have captured in this summary, the summary captures all of those key points.
Right.
Now, one very important thing to remember while writing a summary is that a lot of students say, but we could not get all the points. It is not compulsory to get every point in there. If that was to be the case, they would not ask you to summarize the text. They would tell you to give a transcript of the text.
Right. That's right.
Right? So this is something that should be remembered. It is the key points that have to be covered, not every point that needs to be covered.
Agreed. Very true. And is there anything else you would like to add that the person should take care of this point? I mean, otherwise it can be a problem with the scoring or something like that.
Yes. Try and follow a structure, but don't make it a repeat structure for everything.
So basically there's no need to memorize a template or anything. in this
No,
task.
no such need.
Yes.
You can, if you're not very good with English, if you're not very comfortable creating text out of the blue,
That's right.
then create a structure, template kind of a thing, but don't use it word for word in every summary that you write.
That's right. That's right.
Rather, try and paraphrase things so that your basic structure is there, and then you are putting in the key points that you've brought in with paraphrased sentences.
Agreed. And I believe it is also, we believe it is very important also to leave some time to check your
That's right.
answer.
Proofreading is
important.
very
That
important.
that cannot be missed. If you do not proofread, even one spelling mistake
Can
can
make a difference.
make a big difference.
That's
That's
right.
right.
And another important point is you need to note down as many words as possible so that when you are framing a summary, when you're writing sentences, it's
Yes.
not very hard for you.
Yes. So basically, even if you miss out 1 or 2 points, you have other points to
Yeah,
cover up for
that's
your writing part at least. That's right.
Also, ideally, in an ideal situation, you should have all your points noted down by the time the audio ends.
Right.
So that soon as the audio ends, you can start writing.
Right.
It's important to start typing in something to get the flow going,
Yes. that's
rather
right.
than think about first creating a structure and then
Yes,
typing it in.
yes.
So you should always have some words ready with you
That's
before
right.
you start writing.
Agree. And now, Gaurav, what about the replies that you got? Are there any winners this week?
Unfortunately, no, there are no winners this week. We do have a few replies, but they are more like people asking other people to attempt this.
That's
Tagging each other. Yeah.
So a big thank you to all of them who
Yes,
have
thank you.
tagged their friends and acquaintances for them to understand this. Unfortunately, we do not have any winners.
All right. So, Gaurang and Tanu, now which is the topic which will be next week, which we're going to cover?
Well, I was just checking all the live sessions that we have done. We have covered almost everything.
Almost
Writing is
everything.
done, speaking is done, reading is done. Listening still has a few tasks pending. And one of the most important tasks, possibly according to me, the most important task in listening is what we'll be putting up next, and that is write from dictation.
Yes, it is the last task in listening, where you get 3 to 4 questions generally, where you listen to a sentence and you type the sentence in a box on your screen. The sentence is not fixed, but generally between, let's say, 8 to 12 words in
And
length.
most of the times they check you on the time management too,
Yes,
because you're
that's
not
right.
able to complete right from dictations. Generally, students miss out 1 or 2 of them, but those who miss out, they won't be able to score much.
Yes. And again, I think since the name of the task is write from dictation, so obviously it's an integrated task.
Yes.
Listening and writing.
And in many ways, it is similar to summarize spoken text, but it is also the polar opposite of it, because in write from dictation, you have to write everything.
Yes, word to word.
I
Word
would
to
say
word.
it's similar to repeat
Repeat
sentence.
sentence in
Yes,
speaking.
it's a written form of repeat
Yes,
sentence,
yes,
you can
yes,
say.
exactly. That's right.
Yes. So very important task, and you miss one, you will definitely not get your desired scores in listening as well as in writing.
Writing, very high weighted task for listening and writing both.
Yes. So that's what we will be posting
Yes.
most probably by tomorrow if you do not have any technical issues.
Definitely, we'll be posting it by tomorrow. Yes.
But while we are talking about that, Malcolm, I am remembering that you have a masterclass, and this is one of the topics that is covered in there, right?
Definitely. So this Saturday as well, we are having the master class at our Melbourne CBD office. This Saturday, that is the 18th of November. The class will start at 11 a.m. sharp and will go up till 5:30 in the evening. So if you're interested, you can definitely register for it. The fees is just $129. And if you go for it, you'll also be getting access to 2 practice tests from PTEtutorials.com, which are very close to the actual PTE test and which give you an excellent idea of time management as well. And I'll also like to share that just today we have posted already one score in the morning today. The name of the student is Zain Hassan. Now Zain attended the PT masterclass last Saturday and he got his scores yesterday. He has got a score of 79 each. And he's taken PT many times before, but we believe somewhere that this masterclass was very helpful for him to get 79 in each of the modules.
So friends, you remember our logo? Think PTE, think Aussies.
Aussies, definitely. If you're wanting your score of 79 each, 65 each, 50 each, or 90 each, whatever your requirement is, I believe you cannot afford to miss this class. It will give you a very good.
Master trainer,
Thank you so
Malcolm,
much. Thank you.
will give you mastery over PTE.
Thank you so much
Masters
for
goes to.
Masters
Yes.
goes. Thank you so much. So, is there anything else we need to cover today?
Well, I think that more or less covers everything that we have, except I always remind our viewers that you should visit www.ptetutorials.com, create a free login, you will have a lot of practice material available to you. Get your PTE preparations started. You cannot find a better online resource than ptetutorials.com.
That's right. And I also like to add that we've added excellent paid material as well. We've got material on describe image. We've got material on write essay, which is the essay writing part. And we have just added material on summarize written text, which is again the summary writing part in the writing module. Very important for your writing and reading scores both.
That's fantastic. So PT Tutorials is growing and it's getting the best. It is already the best, and we are going better than the best in the online resources category for providing PTE preparation.
That's
All right. So thank you very much, friends, for tuning in with us today. And I again like to thank Tanu and Gaurang for joining us over here at Melbourne CBD.
Thank you, Malcolm, for having us here. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. So thank you for viewing the video, friends, and we'll see you next Thursday with our task of write from dictation. And thank you, Ankur, as well for being with you.
Thank you,
so
everyone.
much. Thank you. Have a
See
good
you.
day.